song like this. She's my curly-headed baby. She used to sit on Daddy's knee. Well, she's my curly-headed baby, and she comes from sunny Tennessee. Well, I will tell you about these women. I'm gonna tell you what they'll do. They'll lay their head upon your shoulder, and they'll flirt around with another too. And one day we ran out of verses for that song, and we started to sing. Myself when young did eagerly frequent doctor and saint, and heard great argument about it and about, but evermore came out by that same door wherein I went. With them the seed of wisdom did I sow, and with my own hand labored it to grow. And this was all the wisdom that I reaped. I came like water, and like wind I go into this universe, and why not knowing, nor whence like water willy-nilly flowing, and out of it as wind along the waste, I know not whither willy-nilly blowing. For I remember stopping by the way to watch a potter thumping his wet clay, and with its all obliterated tongue, well, it murmured, "Gently, brother, gently play." There was the door to which I had no key. There was the veil through which I might not see. Some little talk a while of thee and me. There was and then no more of thee and me. Ah, love, could you and I with him conspire, and grasp the sorry scheme of things entire? Would not we shatter it to bits, and then remold it nearer to our heart's desire? Well, a moment's halt and a momentary taste of being from the well amid the waste. And lo, the phantom caravan has reached that nothing it set out from, oh make haste. Some for the glories of this world, and some sigh for the prophet's paradise to come. Take the cash and let the credit go, heed not the rumble of a distant drum. Ah, love, when you and I behind the veil have passed, oh, but the long, long while the world shall last, which of our coming and departure heeds as the sea self would heed a pebble cast. Well, the moving finger right, and having writ, this is the most difficult one, moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. Well, that's a little 11th century folk poetry I thought that we used to have a lot of fun with. Thank you. My own little turtle dove, sitting under that mulberry tree, see how that she doth mourn for her true love, as I shall mourn for thee, my dear, as I shall mourn for thee. The sea will never run dry, my dear, nor the rocks never melt with the sun, and I ne'er will prove false to that bonny lass I love, till all these things they be done, my dear, till all these things be done. Oh, fare thee well, my own true love, well, fare thee well, just for a while. And though I go, I will always come again, if I go 10,000 miles, my dear. If I go 10,000 miles. this is a good song to say goodnight to you with. It's a song that, well, it fits any country, it fits any land, and it's one we can all sort of join in on. One that Woody did call This Land Is Your Land, This Land Is My Land. Last time I sang this song was in the Prime Minister's home in New Delhi. We had tea with Indira Gandhi, everybody there, and we sang this song for them, and they really, really loved it, and they joined in. So I think maybe you know your part somewhat. It goes like this. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to that New York island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. Well, this land was made for you and me. Shall we try it? This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. Well, this land was made for you and me. Every time that comes around, is it too big a part? You know, I mean, can you handle that? I know you'll do it. Well, as I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that open skyway, and I saw below me that golden valley. Well, this land was made for you and me. Here we go. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York island, from the redwood forest to those Gulf Stream waters. Well, this land was made for you and me. I've roamed and rambled, and I've followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. And all around me, well, a voice was saying, you know this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York island, from the redwood forest to those Gulf Stream waters. Well, this land was made for you and me. Well, as I went walking, and the clouds were lifting, and the fog went rolling, as the sun came shining, and all around me the voice was chanting, this land was made for you and me. Well, this land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York island, from the redwood forest to those Gulf Stream waters. Well, this land was made for you and me. Let's do it once more. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York island, from the redwood forest to those Gulf Stream waters. Well, this land was made for you and me. Here's a song that came out along the Mississippi River. It's one of those legendary kind of songs like John Henry. It's, well, all countries have their Robin Hoods. And the Robin Hoods of the Negro people were people like John Henry, people like Stagolee, who was said to have been able to do anything once he wore his big white hat. Well, I remember one September, on one Friday night, Stagolee and Billy Lyon, they had a great fight, crying, when you lose your money, learn to lose. Well, Billy Lyon shot 6 bits and old Stagolee bet he passed. Then Stagolee out with his 45s, and you done shot your last. When you lose your money, learn to lose. Well, Stagolee was a bad man, everybody knows. He paid $100, boys, for just one suit of clothes. He was a bad man, that bad old Stagolee. Well, you're talking about some gamblers. Now you ought to have seen Richard Lee. Well, he bet $1,000, then he come out on a 3, crying, you lose your money, learn to lose. Well, a woman come a-running, she fell down on her knees, crying, oh, Mr. Stagolee, don't shoot my brother, please. When you lose your money, learn to lose. Now, Billy Lyon said to Stagolee, please don't take my life, 'cause you know I got them 2 little babes and a darling, loving wife. When you lose your money, learn to lose. But old Stack told him, he said, what do I care about them 2 little babes and your darling, loving wife? Boy, you done took my Stetson hat and I'm bound to take your life. Just retribution. When you lose your money, learn to lose. It was way down in that gambling hall, fighting on the floor. Old Stagolee pulled the trigger of that smoking 44. When you lose your money, learn to lose. Well, gentlemen of the jury, what do you think about that? Old Stagolee killed Billy Lyon about a $5 Stetson hat. When you lose your money, learn to lose. Well, the judge said, Mr. Stagolee, oh, Mr. Stagolee, but I'm going to lock your body up and set your spirit free. When you lose your money, learn to lose. Then there was Railroad Bill. He was another legendary character. Well, Railroad Bill, oh, Railroad Bill, he never worked and he never will. I'm going to ride old Railroad Bill. Well, Railroad Bill, he was a mighty mean man. He shot the midnight lantern out of the brakeman's hand. I'm going to ride old Railroad Bill. Gonna buy me a pistol just as long as my arm. Gonna kill everybody ever done me harm. I'm gonna ride old Railroad Bill. Railroad Bill, Railroad Bill, he never worked, Lord, he never will. I'm gonna ride old Railroad Bill. I'm going up on the mountain, I'm going out west. 38 special sticking out of my vest. I'm gonna ride old Railroad Bill. Railroad Bill, Railroad Bill, Lord, he never worked and he never will. I'm gonna ride old Railroad Bill. I got a 38 special on a 45 frame. How in the world can I miss him when I got dead aim? I'm gonna ride old Railroad Bill. Railroad Bill, he took my wife. He said if I didn't like it, he would take my life. I'm gonna ride old Railroad Bill. Yes, Railroad Bill, he was a mighty mean man. He shot the midnight lantern out of the brakeman's hand. I'm gonna ride old Railroad Bill. Well, I know you've heard this next song a great many times and by some very great singers. But it's one of my favorite songs, and I think it's one of the greatest work songs about one of the hardest working men that ever lived. It came about when the C&O Railroad was driving their tunnels through the mountains of West Virginia. A very hot, hard, dirty kind of work, working in these tunnels where a lot of fellows died from it. And along about that time, of course, came the great ballad of John Henry. Well, John Henry, when he was a little baby, sitting on his mama's knee, he said the Big Bend Tunnel on that C&O road is going to be the death of me. Well, it's going to be the death of me. Well, John Henry had a little woman, boys, her name was Polly Ann. And when John Henry took sick and he was lying up in bed, it was Polly Ann drove steel like a man. Well, Polly Ann drove steel like a man. Well, the captain, he said to John Henry, I'm gonna bring my steam drill around. I'm gonna bring my steam drill out on the job. Gonna whop that steel on down now. I'm gonna whop that steel on down. Well, John Henry said to that captain, well, a man ain't nothing but a man. And before I would let your steam drill beat me down, I believe I'd die with my hammer in my hand. I believe I'd die with that hammer in my hand. Then John Henry raised that hammer and he brought it down on the ground. You know, a man in Chattanooga 300 miles away heard a mighty rumbling sound. Well, he heard a mighty rumbling sound. Then John Henry, he looked down at that shaker. He said, Shaker, why don't you sing? Boy, I'm pulling 12 pounds from my shoulders down. God, listen to that cold steel ring. Well, listen to that cold steel ring. Well, the shaker, he looked up at John Henry. He said, drive like you never did before. Because if we let that steam drill beat us down, well, we won't have a job anymore. No, we won't have a job anymore. Well, the captain, he said to John Henry, I believe the mountain's sliding in. But John Henry told that captain, great God, that ain't nothing but my hammer sucking wind. That ain't nothing but my hammer sucking wind. Well, there are some say he was born down in Texas, and there's some say he come from Maine. Lord, I just say he was a Louisiana man and a leader of a steel driving gang. Was a leader of a steel driving gang. Well, Johnny Henry was working on that mountain, and his hammer had caught on fire. And the last words I heard that poor boy say, I'd like a cool drink of water before I die. I'd like a cool drink of water before I die. Well, when John Henry died, there was no coffin that was big enough to hold his bones, so they buried him in a boxcar about 3 miles deep. He had a mountain for his tombstone, got a mountain for his tombstone. John Henry had a mountain for his tombstone. He had a mountain for his tombstone. Well, they took John Henry to the graveyard, and they lay him down in the sand. Every locomotive come a-roaring by. Hollered, yonder lies a steel-driving man. Well, yonder lies a steel-driving man. They hollered, yonder lies a steel-driving man, John Henry. They hollered, yonder lies that steel-driving man.
You can stay beautifully in debt for most of your life, but our economy sort of exists on this basis, so I thought about this and I made up a little song about buying things on the basis of $1 down and $1 a week. Well, a friend of mine, he bought an automobile for $1 down and $1 a week, and every time he turned that wheel, it was $1 down and $1 a week. He got a credit card for that new machine at $1 down and $1 a week, and he kept it full of this gasoline at $1 down and $1 a week. Just $1 down and $1 a week. Now you can get all the things you seek for $1 down and $1 a week. Well, he went a-riding down the road and a-kissing his gal upon her cheek, and they took him to jail and he put up bail at $1 down and $1 a week. The judge did fine him 50 pounds and asked if he would like to speak. He said, if I may, I'd like to pay about $1 down and $1 a week. Just $1 down and $1 a week. Now you can get all the things you seek for $1 down and $1 a week. He made that little girl his wife at $1 down and $1 a week. He bought a wedding ring that was pretty cheap for $1 down and $1 a week. They got a Frigidaire and a washing machine for $1 down and $1 a week, and the food stayed cold and the clothes kept clean for $1 down and $1 a week, just $1 down and $1 a week. Now you can get all the things you seek for $1 down and $1 a week. They got themselves a little home for $1 down and $1 a week. They got a second mortgage and a pretty good loan for $1 down and $1 a week. He said to his wife, it's a pretty good life for $1 down and $1 a week. And she said, honey, we don't need much money, just $1 down and $1 a week, just $1 down and $1 a week. Now you can get all the things you seek for $1 down and $1 a week. But 6 little kids that soon arrive at $1 apiece and $1 a week. He had so many worries that he couldn't sleep at $1 down and $1 a week. As their debts began to mount and they added them up upon a sheet, they said with tears, we'll need 1,000 years at $1 down and $1 a week, just $1 down and $1 a week. Now you can get all the things you seek for $1 down and $1 a week. So take this little tip from me and these words of wisdom I will speak, and use your head, don't go in the red for $1 down and $1 a week. You'd better get wise when they advertise just $1 down and $1 a week. You use your head, don't go in the red for $1 down and $1 a week, just $1 down and $1 a week. Now you can get all the things you seek for $1 down and $1 a week. It's easy. This is a little nonsense song called the Intoxicated Rat. Well, the other night when I come home as drunk as I could be, I got tangled up in the old doormat, fell flat as I could be. Well, I had me a little old bottle of rum, and I didn't have no more, and the cap flew off when I went down, I spilled it in the floor. Then a rat came out of his hiding place, and he got that whiskey scent, and he ran right up and he got a little shot, then back to his hole he went. Well, back to his hole he went, right back to his hole he went. He ran right up and he got a little shot, then back to his hole he went. Then the rat came out of his hole once more, sidled up to the rum on the floor. He was a little bit shy, but he winked one eye, and he got him a little bit more. And he didn't go back to his hole. Well, he said, doggone my soul, I'm only a rat, but a doggone cat can't run me back to my hole. Well, he washed his face with his front feet, and on his hind legs sat, and with a twisted smile and a half-closed eye, he said, where's that doggone cat? And he didn't go back to his hole. He said, doggone my soul, I'm only a rat, but a doggone cat can't run me back to my hole. Now his little old eyes began to shine as he lapped up more and more. Kinda made me glad that I had stumbled and spilled it on the floor. But soon the puddle of rum was gone, and I didn't have any more gin. And the little old rat was a-having a time when the old tomcat walked in. Now the cat made a pass and the rat made a dash, his boldness faded thin. The cat jumped over and the rat got sober, ran back to his hole again. He ran back to his hole again, ran back to his hole again. Well, the cat jumped over and the rat got sober, ran back to his hole again. Southern farmers of the U.S. make up a lot of songs about their old hound dogs because, well, more times than not, it was the best friend they ever had. And they set great store beside a good hound dog. These dogs were large, kind of long-eared, blue-gray in color, and sometimes they were just called Old Blue. And a man was pretty proud of his hound dogs, and it happened that when they died, they were given quite a royal funeral. This is a song about Old Blue. Well, I had an old dog and his name was Blue. I had me a dog and his name was Blue. I had an old dog and his name was Blue, and I bet you $5 he was a good one too. I called him. I said, Yah-ho, Blue. Good dog, you. Well, Old Blue's feet was big and round. Old Blue's feet was big and round. My Old Blue's feet was big and round. He never allowed a possum to touch the ground. He'd treat a possum in a hollow log. You could tell from that he was a good old dog. Call that old dog. I said, Yah-ho, Blue. I'll take Max and I'll take my horn and I'll get me a possum in the new ground corn. Well, old Blue barked and I went to see, and he had a possum up in a tree. Now the possum crawled out on the limb. Blue barked, the possum growled at him. Called him again. Well, yah-oh, Blue, you good dog. Come on, Blue. Well, he treated a possum in a hollow log. You could tell from that he was a good old dog. Now Blue would make your eyes so red. Oh, Blue would make your eyes so red. Blue would make those eyes so red you run that possum till you're almost dead. I said, yah-oh, Blue, you good dog, you. Well, when old Blue died, he died so hard he shook the ground in my backyard. And I dug his grave with a silver spade and lowered him down with a golden chain. And every link I did call his name. I said, yah-oh, Blue, you good dog, you. Now every time I hear Blue bark, well, every time I hear Blue bark, well, every time I hear Blue bark, he's treeing possums in Noah's Ark. All that old dog. I said, yah-oh, Blue, you good dog, you. Well, I'm gonna tell you so you'll know. I'm gonna tell you so you'll know. Well, I'm gonna tell you so you'll know that old Blue's gone where the good dogs go. All that dog. Well, yah-oh, Blue, you good dog.